Hello, everyone, and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host, Logan Landers, and today we're going to be talking a very special game preview between the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. Now, normally I got my man Jeremiah, Vincent Turner joining me today, but I got a very special guest, one of the members of Bills Mafia joining me on this game, an expert of the Bills, Mr. Derek Joz. Welcome to the show, Derek.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem, man. Love having you on, but man, this game is going to be pretty insane between these two rivals, especially this year more than ever. It's over the past, 20 years with Brady, it's been pretty much one-sided. I know you can say that, but times are changing, man. Times are changing, and it's looking like it's on the Bills' favor for once, and who knows how long. We're going to get into that
about 20 years.
Yeah. So, so we're going to get into all that in just a minute. But before we start on this, man, if you guys like this video on Facebook, on YouTube, where we're broadcasting live like we do every Monday, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Be sure to never miss an episode. We got plenty of them coming out today. Also, we have our podcast, which is on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Google, anywhere you listen to your podcast. And that is brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network, where every show coming out today will be uploaded tonight, where you can see and listen to everything we've talked about here today. So without further ado, let's kick it off. Let's go to our world-famous slide deck, where we're going to be talking about the Patriots and the Bills. So, Mr. Jaws, I will let you talk about the Buffalo Bills and how they can win, and talk a little bit about their win this past Sunday.
Well, I think the biggest thing for the Bills is going to be, controlling Cam Newton. It seems like, that's been something that they've struggled a bit with this year. We've had the vaunted defense in the last, 3-4 years here where, even back when Rex Ryan was our coach, our defense was still a top tier squad. And this year that seems to have changed. But if we can control Cam Newton the way we controlled Sam Darnold yesterday, who still made a couple really good throws, but our defense stepped it up. We dialed up some blitzes. We kept him kind of guessing. We got to him, I believe, 5 times in the game, knocked him down, got again 5 sacks, and we do that, we're going to be in good shape. But what I want to see is our offense get back to form, and that being the form that we were in, of that Josh Allen MVP pace of the first 4 weeks. It's a copycat league. I think we've seen the Titans and the Chiefs figure out a way to confuse Josh a little bit, and he's been a little shaky the last couple of weeks. But I've been watching the kid since he was a rookie, and the one thing I can tell you is that he's not okay with how he's doing, and he's gonna work really, really, really hard to not be that guy anymore and come around. And I was hoping that the Jets game was going to be a bounce back. Now I'm hoping that the Patriots game is going to be a bounce back, although they have a very intelligent coach, which I don't like admitting to, and he usually puts his guys in a good spot to win. I think he's going to see some confusing looks, but I think the last 3 weeks will have gotten him ready to really handle that well. So it's going to be the game goes through the quarterbacks, and that's going to be the tale of this one too.
Yeah, no doubt with that. And like you said, Josh Allen was on a crazy MVP type of run those first couple of weeks, but he's cooled off just a little bit. It seems like the defenses got to him a little bit more than usual. So that, like you said, that's going to be a quarterback battle to deal with, especially with Cam Newton on the other side, who's done some amazing things in the past. What got to the Super Bowl, Rookie of the Year, all that good stuff. He's very talented, no doubt, but he did struggle this past week. He struggled mightily, and against the 49ers, who are injury depleted to say the least. I think I saw something that 20 of their guys were hurt on both sides of the ball. So for the 49ers to go out there yesterday and beat the Patriots 33-6 like they did, hold the Patriots to not even getting a touchdown that whole game. That was very impressive in terms of the 49ers defense, but we got to talk about the Patriots, though. I don't know what went wrong with them. Newton, he got benched. He got benched later in the game. I know
it's 2 weeks in a row, actually, that he has not looked good under center.
Right.
So.
I don't know if that's just coming off of his COVID illness or I don't know what, but he's not looked like himself. He threw 9 of 15 for only 98 yards and 3 interceptions. Then he got benched. I think it was in the third quarter for Jared Stidham. So, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know really what's going on with him. He's just kind of had a slow start ever since he came back. Like you said, the week prior, he didn't have a good game either. But whenever I was watching that game yesterday, and the Patriots defense could not stop the run at all. I don't know what they were doing. Like I said, they have their fair share of injuries as well, and as well as opt-outs as well. But they could not stop the run at all for the 49ers. They were doing anything they could. Let's look at the rushing yards here. Brandon Ayuk, he was led the way in receiving for 115 yards, so he was going all over the place. Then for the rushing yards, Jeff Wilson, who ended up getting hurt, I believe, he ran for 112 yards on 17 carries. And let's not forget, going into that game, their starter, Raheem Mostert, was hurt as well. So Jeff Wilson is the backup pretty much, and he got hurt, but he ran for 3 touchdowns and 112 yards on, a Patriots team that's expected to get wins every week like we've seen for the last 20 years. But this year is different, though. This year they are not looking like the dominant force like they have been with that Belichick era. And I don't know if that's just with the new quarterback, with all the people they got not playing. I'm not sure really what the issue is, but if they want to get this win against the Bills, they definitely need to get their quarterback situation figured out and get that defense tightened up a lot, because if not, this Bills offense, which is very potent, it has a lot of stars on the team, they might be able to run up 40 on them if they keep playing as well as they have. And
yeah, that's definitely the potential for the buzzsaw that that both of these teams have the potential to run into something that they're not ready for, and it's very weird.
Yeah, you're right about that, because like I said, Josh Allen has cooled off over the last couple of weeks, but the numbers are still there, though. I mean, in the game against the Jets, he threw 33 of 46 for over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. So a very clean game in terms of how he was able to throw the ball around. Stephon Diggs has been a huge help for them on the offensive side of the ball. I know I'm sure you've enjoyed watching him suit up every week for Buffalo.
That hasn't sucked, that's for sure.
That's actually worked out for the Bills for one. John Brown too, I think, is kind of he's kind of getting that notion of kind of underrated, but will always do a good performance for you. He got 70 yards with a touchdown the other day on 6 catches.
John Brown is a guy that people very quickly forgot was our number 1 last year and had a really good season. He's fast. He didn't get a lot of credit before coming to the Bills for his route running ability. And we're talking about a dude that turned Stephon Gilmore like a top on a route last year. And he beat the best corner in the league, the best corner in the league, because shout out to my boy Trey last year, who I believe outperformed him for it was the only touchdown that Gilmore gave up. And he beat him so bad that your statisticians actually looked and said, technically he beat the safety. That's on the safety. Yeah. And like, no, man, that was straight man coverage. And my man got lost in no man's land over there. And, John Brown gets forgot about, I think, because then you talk about Cole Beasley, who the last couple of weeks has come on, after McDermott sat down with Allen and said, stop trying to force the ball to Diggs on every play. And Cole Beasley's been coming on. He's been, he had 112 yards yesterday.
Yeah, like you said, Cole Beasley. I was actually looking at last year's game. Gotta love looking at ESPN, because they always seem to throw up like 3 years ago's stats first. But okay, yeah, let me get this right, guys. Josh Allen did throw for over 300 yards, so I can get a check mark with that. But you got to dock me a little bit. He did not throw a touchdown or an interception. But Cole Beasley did lead the way, 11 catches, 112 yards. Very solid game out of him. Also, one of the best kind of veterans in the league in terms of wide receivers. He's always a guy that's always going to get you. He's always going to catch balls. He's very consistent. It's very rare that he has an off game. I've always liked his style of play, even dating back to when he was with Dallas. Yeah. And I think his kind of veteran presence has kind of really helped out with the Bills, especially, because Stephon Diggs, yes, he has been in the league for a little bit now, but he's still young and can always learn. And because, let's face it, he's one of the top wide receivers in the league. Because, you can always vouch for the Michael Thomases, the Julio Jones and whatnot, but he is up there as well. Like and the scary part is he's only going to get better too. That's pretty scary to think of. So we'll have to see just how much he's going to keep progressing with this Bills system. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the running game, though. Leading the way yesterday was Josh Allen with 61 yards on the ground. But Zach Moss and Devin Singletary ran for Moss with 47 yards and Singletary with 29. How do you think the Buffalo rushing game is going to be able to go up against the Patriots defense?
You know, the running game this year, a lot of people have knocked it, and I've through social media and whatnot, I've had a conversation with a few people, and the one group around here, they put up they actually do like film study work, and they put up a run from, I believe, 3 or 4 weeks ago, where Singletary, it was a stretch play, and Singletary just kept try to ride it out. And when you look at it, the way a stretch play works is it's supposed to, you're supposed to run with the lineman until you find the hole in a one cut and go. And Singletary missed the hole by about 3 steps. And everyone's like, "Oh, our linemen don't block well. Our linemen don't block well." And I'm like, I was a lineman when I played football, and I looked at somebody. I was like, "Listen, man," and I took a screenshot of it, and you could see like a huge running lane. And I'm like, if I'm getting ripped up by my running back or my coaches for not blocking well on this play, and I see this in the film room, I'm throwing lookout blocks all next week, because I mean, I need my guy to put his foot in the ground and get up in the hole. And that's been something that I don't think we're running the football enough. And I say that we're not running the football enough for our running game to get on time with each other. And it's because we haven't had to, because our offense goes through Josh Allen. So, if you have 2 running backs getting you 60 yards and Allen getting you 60 more, I mean, you got 120 rushing yards on a day that he doesn't have to run. It's because he threw for 400, and that's how our team's been this year. I would like to see more consistency on the ground. I saw some good things out of Zach Moss yesterday. Motor is always, it astonishes me, the size of Singletary, that, he just, the first guy never takes him down ever. I mean, and he could be from, taking a handoff and almost not even moving, and that first guy is not going to take him down. He might hold him up, and the next guy comes in and takes him down. And I would love to see those two start, really start working with each other and really start, running the football. But we're not built that way. This isn't going to be that, pound the rock team this year. And I think down the road, and when the weather turns, it could be. But I want to see it get more consistent before we have to do it in the snow. If you're me, like, because we're going to play New England later on in the year again. And I mean, we have, I want to say almost the rest of our home games are mid to late November on. I think we have 5 home games from the end of November through December. So, I mean, it's, you're going to play some bad weather games. You got to have those guys running. They're not doing it right now, but I think they can. It's just going to be a matter of getting them more touches and more looks in game, because, with the weird year that it's been, that's, I think your defenses are slow. And I think what do you have, a timing running game? I think it's slowed up this year just because of not having OTAs.
Yeah, if there was ever a game for that running game to break out in, I think it'll be against this one, just because the Patriots got punched in the mouth the other day with that stacked 49ers rushing team. I mean, look, that's how they play. That's how the Niners play. Quick screen passes. They're going to run the ball to death. And then, because, they're not going to throw the ball 50 yards like most quarterbacks will. They're just going to kind of throw little dink short passes, and they're going to get some quick yards, and they're going to run the ball every other play. And that Patriots defense could not think of any way to stop them at all. So if the Bills wanted to break out that running game and give Josh Allen a little bit of a break, I think this is the game to do it, just because they're coming off that big loss. Let's talk about the defense a little bit for the Bills. Leading the way the other day with just tackles as well as sacks was Jerry Hughes, who's been absolutely outstanding. Jordan Poyer as well had 6 tackles and a sack. I mean, your team had 6 sacks yesterday, man. Against, yeah. I mean, yes, it is the Jets, but still, that's very impressive to say you can get 6 sacks in a game. So that Bills, what do you think about the Bills defense? How can they hold up against the Patriots with Cam Newton and all of his talented receivers?
Again, the defense is having a down season. I attribute some of that again to the lack of preseason and whatnot. Because you're not going full tilt against your own team.
Right.
You're not full tackle. You're not doing it so there were no inter squad stuff. There was no, scrimmages with other teams than the preseason. So, you kind of toss that up to a little bit of the, a little bit of the defensive the defenses league wide being slow on that. And then what I saw it yesterday for the first time this year. I saw my front playing angry. You know, I saw Jerry Hughes getting off the ball and being a force. I saw Ed Oliver like reading the guy in front of him so well that there were 2 plays in a row that the guard in front of him flinched and he was in the guy's face so fast that the announcers were like, oh my God, like this guy flinched, like the guard flinched. This should be a false start, but they called an encroachment penalty on Oliver because he got off the ball so fast. The next play, the same guard jumped again and Oliver almost put him on his, on his backside because they moved almost at the same time. And this time he actually got the call, but he was angry about it. Like he was visibly, as soon as he got into the guy and they blew the play dead, he looked at the ref and said, that's 2 in a row. That's 2 in a row, kind of thing. Like, and I saw my defense play angry the way that they played all last year. And, I can tell you that we missed Jordan Phillips up the middle. Yeah, that dude for a defensive tackle could be a game changer. Star Latulier opting out is big for our run defense. That's a guy that just eats blockers. He doesn't show up on a stat sheet. He's not going to be the guy that's, he's not going to be your Aaron Donald that's getting, one of the Watt brothers or one of these guys that has a full broadcast of a football game dedicated to how amazing they are. Right. He's a dude that you need to put 2 helmets on every single play because he's so big and strong in the middle. He just doesn't move. So if you want to open a hole, you have to put 2 hats on him, and that frees up your linebackers to come in and make plays and the other 3 guys to beat those one-on-one blocks. And so far this year, we haven't had that. We just brought up, I believe his first name is Justin. His last name is Zimmer. He's he kind of looks a little bit like a Kyle Williams type defensive tackle up the middle. And he's been playing well for 2 weeks. So I think, and we clamped down on the run defense against Derrick Henry. And obviously we did not do that against the Chiefs, right. for the 900 yards we gave up that game. But Gore early on had a couple good runs against us yesterday, and then we clamped down on that. We clamped down. I think the Jets only had like 10 or 12 yards in the second half total. And that's my defense playing angry. That's my defense playing the way that we know they can play, the way that we expect them to play. And we play that kind of defense going forward. That's going to take pressure off Josh Allen too, because, especially when your home games are in Buffalo, you can't expect to score 40 a game.
Yeah, that's just what you love to see with any kind of defense. You want to see them play angry. You want to see them, if it takes a small penalty to kind of fire up the team, you'll take it. And that Buffalo Bills defense is definitely, like I said, they're playing angry. They're very talented, even with, like I said, a few of those guys opting out. But they're still a force to be reckoned with. But let's not discredit the Patriots, though. Yes, they gave up 33 points yesterday, but they still have a very good defense. They have Jonathan Jones, who's had a very solid year. They also have the McCourty brothers, of course. And they also have Stephon Gilmore, who some believe is, one of the top corners in the league. So, yeah, while they didn't have the best game yesterday and they have not had the best season so far, that's just attributed, I think, like we said earlier, just to the OTAs and to practice time being cut short. We've seen all the defenses kind of take a step back this year. And that's the thing with defenses. It's more of a scheme-based type of thing as opposed to offense. To where, all right, you got to have everyone set up here. You got to be able to know where you're going to, who's going to cover who, where you're going to cut, what zone you're going to cover. And it's just taking teams a little bit longer to kind of figure that out. But hopefully we'll see a turn in it and we won't see as many of these blowout games as we've seen over the past couple of weeks. But it'll be interesting to see because I still think that Patriots defense can get it turned around just based off their talent alone. But that Bills defense is, like you said, it's coming into its own. And they have a lot of star power over there that can really give the Patriots nightmares, especially Cam Newton. Because, while he is a dual-threat quarterback, he's going to have to use using his legs a lot. Because I think the Bills are going to be able to get to Newton a lot. Like I said, they got 6 sacks against Sam Darnold the other day. And I don't know how many they're going to have against Newton, but they're for sure going to get, I'd say, at least 2 just based off, because this is a rivalry game. These guys play each other, like you said, twice a year. Yeah. So they're always going to want to one-up each other. And especially now with the Bills kind of leading the charge for once, they're going to play extra motivated. So I'm looking forward to it.
I am too, and I'll tell you, you hit the nail on the head. They have good players over there, and I mean, McDermott's come out and said it. Allen has come out and said it. The Patriots are the team to beat until you beat them, and right now we have not. So, here we are. We're heading into Patriots week. It is, we're top of the division. They're sitting behind us and Miami, which I don't think anybody saw coming. A lot of people had Miami being second in the division, but they had them second to the Patriots with us in third.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you cannot discount this. And I hate saying it, but I'm a Bills fan, but I'm also a football fan. Bill Belichick is one of, if not the most intelligent coach that has ever graced the field. And, you can see it in the way he manages games, the way he twists and contorts rules to find the gray area and the loophole. And you can see it in the way that some of his, the guys that we talk about a coaching tree, some of the guys that leave him to go be head coaches elsewhere do the same stuff. This man is a maniacal, evil genius. So if anyone's going to find a way to have a struggling team, give a team like the Bills, who seem like they have things going their direction. This week was an ugly win for us, but an ugly win is still a win. And he's going to find a way that if we're going to win, it's going to have to be an ugly win. I do not have the confidence to say that we're going to run away, blow this team up, because it's a Bill Belichick coach team, and you can never discount that ever.
No,
and I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, I know you're going to be very happy once the day he decides to hang up the hoodie and move away from the sidelines. But just
get out of my division. I don't care. Like coach forever. Just get out of my division. I got rid of Brady finally. Go.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see, because I think he's going to stick around as long as management's going to let him. He'll be on that sidelines forever. But because he's already been there for 20 some odd years just with the Patriots. I mean, because he was with previous teams, of course, but he's built his dynasty with the Patriots. And I mean, I don't think he's shown any indication that he's going to be retiring anytime soon, which wonderful for the whole league. Because like you said, he is one of, if not the best coach to ever be in the NFL. And I mean, that's just a tip of the hat to him and what all he's been able to do with as many guys as he's had on this team. I mean, Brady was the mainstay forever, but I mean, we're seeing now what he's going to be able to do without him. And I still have hope that they're going to turn around. They're not going to have a horrible season. They might go around the 500 range. I could maybe see that. But they're not going to be fighting for one of the top 5 draft picks or anything like that. I don't see that at all.
No, but what they're going to do is they're going to have one of those mid-range draft picks that you can find real gems in, and somewhere in like the 3rd or 4th round, he's going to find his next man up quarterback, and he's going to get all these guys that opted out this year back, and all of a sudden we're going to be talking about how darn good the Patriots are next year, and I'm going to hate it because he's a good coach. Yeah.
But hey, it's the Bills' time to shine right now. They have all the spotlights on them in that conference, in that division. And we'll have to see how this game's going to pan out on Sunday. Derek, do you have anything to promote to the fans out there of 100 Yards of Football? Let them know where they can find you, and tell them about yourself.
Well, I am the every week host of Hats, Tats, and Stats. I have three other guys that work with me. We are a Buffalo-centric pro football podcast on the bicbpradio.com network. You can go check us and like 39 other podcasts out on that network page. There's something for everybody. I myself, like I said, I'm the every week host of Hats, Tats, and Stats. Again, we talk all pro sports. We cover the Bills the most because we're all Bills fans. And, we kind of take the lighter side of sports. If you're listening at work to us, I'm going to tell you to put headphones on because sometimes, we let some things slip and slide that we probably shouldn't. We're a little bit rough around the edges at times, but everybody thinks we're pretty funny for the most part. So, just make sure your boss doesn't care if he hears, some off the cuff commentary. If you're a baseball fan out there, I'm also the host of an interview podcast called Tip of the Cap Podcast. That is basically centering around prep baseball. So high school and young college level baseball, summer travel, stuff like that. and just, expanding, bringing knowledge to the masses through people who've been there, seen it, done it, who are currently going through it, or who help other kids and people get to the next level. And then, of course, my little side project is Common Debauchery, is just talking about life and the life and times of 2020, and it could be anything from slightly political, which I try not to do too much, but every once in a while you gotta venture into that dark world. But anything from that to I like stories like I just bought a house, so some of the stories about the housing market at least in the Buffalo area, and some of the weird stuff that we went through, some of the fun houses we've seen, and bringing back things like MySpace, because I miss MySpace, because I'm sure this is on Facebook Live, but like I want to start having arguments with people about why they're not in my top 8. Like I want that to be a thing again. So that's Common Debauchery. Like I said, all of that stuff can be found on the www.bicbp-radio.com network. Like I said, us and 37 other podcasts on there, and you can find us on social media. Just search Hats, Tats, and Stats podcast on Facebook, at HTS_pod on Instagram, at Hats, Tats, Stats on Twitter. We share stuff at game day. If I'm sitting around watching Red Zone, I'll be tweeting funny and ironic things that I see there. We kind of go back and forth sometimes with other radio hosts and just banter about sports as a whole. So, we try to have a lot of fun with it, and it's actually expanded me quite a bit to being able to have conversations like this with guys like you and just have a lot of fun talking sports. So
yeah, man, I appreciate having you on. Be sure, if you guys want to go check out Derek, go to all of his podcasts, go check out everything on the screen you see there. Let them know that we sent you also. Broaden the family. Let them know that, it's like, hey man, we saw you in that interview with that for the Bills game. It's like, yeah, there you go. We got to connect. Connect the fan bases.
Absolutely. Let's do this.
Let's do it, man. But I appreciate you coming on the show, Derek. Ready for this game on Sunday. Be sure, if you guys like this video, on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, where we are streaming live, of course, like, comment, share, subscribe. Be sure to follow all of our pages where you can never miss a video. Also, thanks to the Belief Podcast Network for helping us get a podcast. We've been doing some work over there now for the past month and so. We're on every major Spotify. We're every major audio platform: Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, anywhere else you like to listen to your audio, we are there. For my guest, Derek Joz, thank you for coming on the show, my man. I loved having you on. I'd love to get you back on one day, talk some more Bills, maybe in the playoffs. We'll have to see.
Yeah, playoff football in Buffalo, baby. Let's do this.
I'm your host, Logan Landers, and this has been 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. Be sure to keep tuning in right here to see some more of your daily football content. We'll be talking to you guys later in the week. See you guys.